What's going on, guys? It's another week of Crossing Line with Dev. Look, guys, I love sports. I love baseball. I love watching football. I love watching basketball. And I appreciate anybody who watches every week with me. We have a lot to get into today. A lot. A lot. We got MLB playoffs going on. We have NFL Week 6 and Week 7. We'll go over some of the storylines, some of the big games, some of the key moments, all that. You know it. And then we'll round it off with some projections on how I think this week of MLB games is going to go and how I think this week of NFL games is going to go. Let's hop right into it and let's just kind of go over all the week 6 big games, all the key moments that happened during the week. I'm not going to talk about every game because it's not really important to talk about some of these, but let's just hop right into it. I told you guys I was worried about that Giants Eagles game. It's something about divisional games. The Eagles have had such a bland offense. I thought maybe I was just being a pessimistic Eagles fan, but I was actually right. Our offense is trash. Absolutely trashed. If you watched any of that Giants game, it none of it was good. None of it was good. We got blown out the entire time. It was an awful game. Scattaboo ran all over us. Jackson Dart looked like an MVP candidate. Eagles offense could literally get nothing going. Jalen's missing wide open AJ Brown. This is why AJ Brown's not happy. And he denied that meeting that they claim to have had together to fix the offense. Well, guess what? That meeting didn't work. That meeting must have not been about football at all because it didn't change a damn thing. I have a feeling that with the news about Doug Peterson getting asked if he would become an Eagles coach again, that they're opening the door to firing Patullo, because you don't just ask if your offense, if your team is flourishing, you don't just go and ask other random ex NFL coaches if they would coach a certain team. That just doesn't happen. So I have a feeling that they're kind of opening the door to maybe firing Patullo because he does not know what he's doing. His offense would have worked in the 90s. When nobody threw the ball, it was all a running attack. It does not work now. It is predictable. It's easy. They got A.J. Brown running the same routes over and over and over and over and over again. Jalen doesn't look like himself. This is the moments where I don't like when Jalen has no emotion at all. Because in the moments that things are going really well and he's showing no emotion, it's kind of like, oh, he's a psychopath killer, like it's cool. But in these moments, it just feels like he doesn't care. That's just me, though. So, Giants get a big win. Eagles take their first L. But let's be honest. If it wasn't for a couple of fluky plays, we might be 2-3 right now. Broncos Jets overseas. Not a good game. It might have been the worst NFL game in existence. Game ended 11-13. Broncos won by 2. I think in the first half, because they consider sacks against your passing yards, Justin Fields had negative passing yards because he got sacked like 10 times for 55 yards and only had like 17 passing yards. It was so bad. It was so bad that the Jets decided to just give up like a minute of playtime before the first half ended. They just ran the ball and didn't have another play. They just said, you know what, pack it up, let's get out of here. We're not even going to try to go down the field and kick a field goal. That field goal would have won them the game. Broncos get another win. Seahawks beat the Jaguars. Sam Darnold actually looks way better than I thought he was going to when they picked him up. They won by 8. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba is so good. I mean, when he got drafted, we all knew he was good because he was an Ohio State number 1 guy. But I don't think any of us thought that he would be what he is now. He is a number 1. He makes Cooper Kupp look like a third-string slot receiver. He's so good. Chargers get a big win over the Dolphins. They win by 2. Very close game. Game ended 29-27. After the game, Tua is throwing his teammates under the bus, saying, like, nobody's showing up on time. Nobody cares. I'm the only one showing up on time. And he ended up having to come back and apologize because you don't just throw your teammates under the bus for not showing up to meetings on time, to practice on time. It's not good, a good look as a leader. So he got really hounded for it. He ended up apologizing, but he got hounded for it. Chargers get another win within 3 points. I swear, my friend Emery is one of the biggest Chargers fans. So the amount of Chargers games that I've watched in the last, let's say, 5 years, I swear, all of them end really close. The games that they should win, they barely win. The games that they should lose, they barely lose. It's always so, I don't know how it always happens that there's never just a blowout on either side. The Chargers are a much better team than the Dolphins, yet they only won by 2. Crazy. Rams crushed the Ravens without Lamar Jackson playing. We all expected it. It wasn't a very good game. It was only 17-3. But yeah, the Ravens are in a rough spot right now. They're 1-5. Will they make the playoffs? Who knows? I think Puka Nacua got hurt in this game. He kind of seems to always be on the injury list. So we'll see how that shapes up. I imagine he'll end up being fine. It didn't seem like anything serious, but we shall stay tuned. Yeah, Rams get another win. They look like the Rams are an incredibly good team. Matthew Stafford, at his age, is still so good. Cardinals go into Indianapolis to play the Colts. I think we all expected this game to be a blowout. I think the spread was like 9.5 points or something like that. And the Cardinals kept it close. I think they had a bounce back in the second half. So, first half, it was 14-10. And then in the third quarter, the Cardinals outscored the Colts 14-3. Luckily, the Colts bounced back in the fourth quarter, scored 14 to win the game by 4. But Jacoby Brissett looked good. 320 passing yards, 2 TDs, had an interception. When you look at the game leaders, does anyone know Zonovan Knight? Like, the Cardinals are playing with backups of backups. Jonathan Taylor's looking like an MVP candidate right now. Daniel Jones looks like the complete opposite quarterback that he was in New York. And the more that time goes on, the more I question if Dable's actually a good coach. Rico Dowdle and the Carolina Panthers take on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. And guess what? The Cowboys cannot stop a thing on defense. I swear, it's like they don't even have a defense out there. Dak Prescott is doing everything he can, and yet the Cowboys are consistently losing because they're giving up 30 points to the Carolina Panthers, helmed by Bryce Young and Rico Dowdle. And guess what? After having over 200 rushing yards last week, Rico Dowdle goes back against his previous team, the Dallas Cowboys, rushes for another 30 yards or 30 carries, 183 yards. He also had 4 receptions for 56 yards and a touchdown. He had 239 all-purpose yards in this game. That's crazy. I mean, George Pickens had a great game too for a fantasy. He had 9 receptions, 168, 1 TD. But damn, the Cowboys 2-3-1. The Panthers are 3-3. The Cowboys are not looking good at all. I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm always worried that the Cowboys are going to be good because I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm starting to get less and less worried because they suck. I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, but you do not have a good team this year. Patriots take on the Saints. Another semi-close game. Drake May, 261, 3 TDs. He was also their rushing leader. Spencer Rattler, 227. Kamara does not look like Kamara of the past. It looks like he's just making a paycheck at this point. Patriots squeak out a win by 6 points, 25-19. Drake May, another win under his belt. Steelers crushed the Browns, absolutely crushed the Browns, 23-9. Raiders Titans. Not that this game would be important if it wasn't for the Raiders killing the Titans and Brian Callahan getting fired immediately. The Titans are now coached by an interim coach because Brian Callahan sucks. Not a good coach. I know he didn't have a lot of talent, and it didn't help that Cam Ward was going up on the podiums and being like, yo, we just suck. We're ass. We need to be better. Cam Ward will have another coach. Seems like he's a great candidate for getting drafted super high overall and not working out, getting bounced around, finding a team, and then having a bunch of success. 49ers take on the Buccaneers, and Baker Mayfield and all of his charisma, all of his confidence, all of his moxie goes out and just rolls over the 49ers. They win 30-19. Emeka Egbuka looks like one of the best wide receivers in the league. Insane. Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Packers, a team who he has already played this year and already beat. Joe Flacco out there slanging it, 219, 2 TDs. Jamar Chase had 94 yards and 1 TD. Unfortunately, they could not do enough to stop these Packers from winning this game. Jordan Love, 259, 1 TD, and Josh Jacobs, 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Joe Flacco does not beat the Packers twice in a year, unfortunately. Packers squeak out a win. Chiefs-Lions. This is the Chiefs bounce-back game. My Lord. This game was within 13, but it didn't feel that close at all game. It felt like the Chiefs were handling business. Pat Mahomes, 257, 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce had a big game, 6 receptions for 78 yards. Man, oh man. The Chiefs bounced back game, and it looked good. Their defense looked really good against these Lions, rushing and receiving attack. Pat Mahomes was being confident. Travis Kelce was jumping over people, landing on his head. And I'm sure Taylor Swift was in the crowd cheering on her boyfriend because they were absolutely smoking the Detroit Lions this week. Luckily, the Chiefs didn't go 0-3, and so I do not have to get a Chiefs tattoo on my neck if they win the Super Bowl. So I had a pretty big parlay. I put up $10 down on a random parlay for like 8 teams to either spread win or win overall. All of them hit, and it came down to this Bills-Falcons game. I had the Bills money line. It would have hit for 700 if the Bills won. And they go out here on Monday night against the Atlanta Falcons and Bijan Robinson, Michael Penix Jr., Drake London, and get manhandled. Absolutely manhandled. This Buffalo Bills game, like if you watched any of it, at times even the score was close, but Josh Allen could not get anything going. This Buffalo Bills defense couldn't stop me if I was the running back. Bijan had 19 carries, 170 yards, and 1 touchdown. Drake London had 158 receiving yards and 1 TD. Josh Allen, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. James Cook had 87 yards rushing, but this was not a good game. The Bills got absolutely smoked. They couldn't stop the run. The Atlanta Falcons defense was wrapping up Josh Allen. It was the first time he got sacked like more than 2 times in almost 3 years. Not a good game from these Buffalo Bills. Bijan Robinson looks absolutely menacing on the field. He is so good. So good. And they ruined my parlay. So thank you, Josh Allen and the Bills. The one game I thought that I had the most confidence in, The Bears Commanders had another good game. Remember last year, the Bears and Commanders, it came down to a Hail Mary, and after that, the Bears went like 1-8 or something like that. Like they had a really good start to last year's season, and then all of a sudden they barely got beat by the Commanders, and then it all fell apart afterwards. So it was actually an insane watch because it was just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It was touchdown. Jaden Daniels had a touchdown. Then it came down to the fourth quarter. We had an immediate touchdown to Zach Ertz. Caleb Williams throws it to Caleb Williams throws it to DeAndre Swift, 55 yards for a touchdown with 10:26 back. Then it kept going punt, 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 and finally ended up in the hands of Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. As they're trying to track down the field just to kick a field goal to win the game, Jaden Daniels has a malfunction and ends up fumbling the ball to the point where the Bears only had to run a couple of plays, like 1 or 2 first downs, and were able to kick a field goal and barely squeak out a win. All the Washington Commanders had to do was keep a hold of the ball, lower the time down, and you would win this game. Unfortunately, Jaden Daniels fumbles the ball. Caleb Williams and the Bears capitalize. Jake Moody kicks a 38-yard field goal. And the Commanders barely lose to the Bears after last year, barely beating the Bears on a Hail Mary. It was kind of Jaden Daniels' breakout game where we all went, oh yeah, he's legit. And now this year, Caleb Williams and these Bears capitalize on a couple mistakes by the Washington Commanders and win this game by 1 point, 25-24. Caleb Williams is starting to come in to his own skin a little bit in the NFL. I know it probably helps that he has Ben Johnson and he probably knows what the hell he's doing, has a coach who knows what the hell he's doing, but Caleb Williams is starting to look good. You see those flashy upside plays, and you can tell that he's just extremely talented. Luckily, the Bears are starting to kind of form around him, and now the Bears are, if I'm not mistaken, 3-2. Commanders fall to 3-3. I think the Bears had a bye week. That's why they have one less game played. But yeah, that's hopping straight into all the big storylines, the big games. Let's see if we're missing anything. Let's kind of talk about a little bit of the key ideas. Are we worried about the Eagles offense? Absolutely. Did we expect Brian Callahan to get fired? Yes, we did. There's a lot of talk around the 49ers being in the trade market for either trading players or trading for players. There's a couple big names that are quote unquote could be traded before the deadline. Breece Hall, that's a big name. I mean, any team would be lucky to have Breece Hall. There's a couple like Devon Achane, something like that, but I don't see. I think if anything, it would be Breece Hall. But yes, a couple big moments, a couple big games, and we are now into week 7. Tonight, Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals take on Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the spread is 5.5. For some reason, it's a division game. It's Joe Flacco. I kind of expect this game to be close. I bet the plus 5.5 with the Bengals. I think he can sling it in the third quarter, make up some points that they're losing by. Steelers can have a stagnant offense at times, and if the Bengals keep it together for just a second, I think that the game can be close. Trey Hendrickson is out this game. He will not be playing. I don't think there's many Steelers on the injury list right now, but that's tonight's Thursday night game. I expect DK to have a big game. I expect the Steelers to run the ball a ton, and I expect Joe Flacco to constantly be throwing it from behind because the Bengals defense is absolutely trash because they paid 50% of their money to 3 players. Jaguars-Rams might be a good game. I'm not sure what Puka's health is going to be, but the Jaguars, even though coming off of a loss, are rolling on a bit of confidence. It feels like, let me look at this real quick. Seems like Trevor Lawrence is kind of coming into his, is starting to have a little bit of confidence. Remember, he had a terrible first head coach in the NFL. Then he had Doug Peterson, where they had one good year and then it all kind of fell apart. He gets fired. Now they have Duval. Cannot remember his name to save my life. Liam Cohen. They have Liam Cohen. He's starting to kind of figure it out. Travis Hunter is looking really good. Every week, Travis Hunter is getting more playtime on each side, and you can just tell how elite of a talent he is. But I see this game being close because the Rams can kind of be banged up. They can kind of keep it close. Matthew Stafford is a tad bit old, and the Jaguars have a lot of talent, a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed on their team. I don't think the Jaguars will win this game, but I think it might be a close game. Eagles, Vikings. I'm worried that we're going to get blown out by Carson Wentz and the Vikings this week because the Eagles' offense is absolutely terrible. I hope Jalen's taking accountability for it, making sure that the team gets this figured out, because if not, the Eagles will fall to, what is it, 5-2? They're going to fall to 5-2. I mean, or sorry, they're going to fall to 4-3. The Eagles have looked absolutely awful the last 2 weeks, and they have not figured anything out. They have not changed anything. I hope they do, because they have the best running back in the world in Saquon Barkley, and they have a top 3 wide receiving core in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, they should not be this bad. They actually have an elite offensive line too, and yet we can't seem to ever move the ball. We are 3-0 waiting to happen. Patriots take on the Titans. Titans just fired Brian Callahan. Drake May and the Patriots are rolling right now. I expect whatever spread this is at for the Patriots to absolutely cover it. Panthers, Jets. Jets are going to get blown out. Panthers kind of slightly seem like a good team. Rico Dowdle is kind of carrying this team to a couple wins. Over 500 all-purpose yards in the last couple weeks. Insane. Well, yeah, Panthers, I see just blowing out the Jets in this one. Dolphins, Browns. Wow, what a shitty watch. Dylan Gabriel and the Browns are going to take on Tua, blaming his teammates, and the Miami Dolphins. I think the Dolphins have more offensive firepower, but for some reason, I just see the Browns somehow squeaking out a short, like a very close win in this one. Myles Garrett and this defense are pretty good. The offense can get points on the board and the aspect of like field goals and good field position. If the Dolphins don't absolutely just blow them out, I think the Browns are going to win. Bears, Saints. Saints might be the worst team in the NFL this year. Sorry, Lena. Happy birthday. But the Bears, coming off a hot win on Monday night against the Washington Commanders. Caleb Williams, the elite talent. I just don't see how the Bears lose this game. Chiefs, Raiders. If the Chiefs' last game against the Lions was their bounce back game, the Raiders are going to get absolutely dog walked in this one. Absolutely dog walked. Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, is probably the greatest quarterback to ever play this game. Travis Kelce, probably the greatest, if not top 3 greatest tight ends of all time. They'll figure it out, and they have Andy Reid as a head coach, who I think 90 to 95% of the teams in the league right now would fire their head coach to have Andy Reid coaching their team. Chiefs divisional game could maybe be a little bit closer than the spread calls for, but I see the Chiefs. The Chiefs should absolutely dog walk the Raiders in this one. Colts, Chargers. This is a game that I would bet all my money on lands within 3 points. Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. probably the best team in the AFC right now, taking on the Chargers. It's actually a pretty good game. This might be the game of the week because the Colts are the best team in the AFC. The Chargers are one of the best teams in the AFC. I think the way with how everything's went so far, I don't know how many insanely good teams the Colts have played. The Chargers have had a couple big wins under their belt. If the Colts can still do what the Colts have been doing to the last 5 teams they've played, I think the Colts should win. But can the Chargers come in here and make a statement by beating the Colts this week? Well, we shall see. But if I had to place money on it, I would probably place whatever the Chargers spread is because I imagine that they're the underdogs in this game. Giants, Broncos. The Broncos are the better team, but with the Giants coming off a couple, they're 2-1 in the last 3 weeks. The Broncos just had a terrible game against the Jets overseas. Jackson Dart, Bo Nix, 2 coaches that have been in the league for quite a while. I think the Broncos are the better team. They have the better defense. They have the more reliable offense. But can Jackson Dart make a spark and carry the Giants to another win? I see the Broncos winning this game, but I do see it being... I'm assuming this spread is probably close. I'd probably just play the Broncos money line if I was going to play anything. Packers, Cardinals, not sure if Jacoby Brissett is going to play. I'm not entirely sure of the injury status of the Cardinals. Let's look at this real quick. Kyler Murray was limited at Wednesday's walkthrough, so it seems like it's probably likely that he'll play. If it's Kyler, I can see this game being close because the Packers have kind of had some weak spots lately. We've seen them lose to the Browns. We've seen them have games that shouldn't be close that were close. If Jacoby's playing, I don't see how the Cardinals win this one, but if Kyler's playing, there is a world in which the Cardinals beat the Packers this week. Cowboys, Commanders. It is a divisional game. The Cowboys can still put up points, but I do still think the Commanders are the better team. They are by far the better team. Jaden Daniels, elite quarterback play. Dak is an elite quarterback, but he just doesn't have the team around him to culminate all the success that he has in his position as team success. The Commanders coming off a tough loss. So are the Cowboys. Divisional game, it's going to be close, but I do expect the Commanders to win this one. Falcons, 49ers. This is a game that I would be hesitant to bet on because it's like the Falcons should win this game in the aspect that the Niners are coming off a loss. The Falcons are coming off a big Monday Night Football game against the Bills. But I can see a world in which the Falcons come in here thinking that they are by far the better team and absolutely getting smoked by the 49ers with a backup QB if Brock Purdy doesn't play. Because the Niners still are a really good coach team. They still have a lot of talent on their team. And the Falcons should not take the success that they've had to their head and have way too much confidence. It did look like Michael Penix was holding his throwing arm during the game against the Bills, so I'm not sure if he's going to be on an injury list or not, but I can see the Niners winning this one if they can hold Bijan to like less than 150 yards. Buccaneers, Lions. This is going to be a really good game because the Bucs always somehow give up enough points for the other team to be close. The Lions can capitalize on good field position because they have so much talent in both their running backs, their quarterback, and their wide receiver play. They are a damn good coach team. They're coming off a tough loss to the Chiefs, who had a bounce back game. But I'm not sure what the injury status of the Buccaneers wide receivers core is because Egbuka was kind of hurt. I'm not sure if Godwin's going to be back or if Mike Evans, what's going to happen with him if he's going to play. But I can see the Lions keeping this one close, if not winning, because I imagine that the Buccaneers are favored in this game. The Texans at Seahawks. Texans are a terrible team this year. They're the only team that I'd be worried about going 0-3 and then winning the Super Bowl and me having to get a tattoo on my neck. But I do think that Sam Darnold and the Seahawks are rolling way too hot right now. The Texans are rolling way too cold right now. This is a Seahawks win all day long. Don't know what the spread is. I don't know that I'd place a Seahawks spread, but I would definitely place a Seahawks money line. That is all the NFL news that we got in today. Coach firing, some starting QBs getting traded in the division, and Joe Flacco. The Bears and Chiefs getting huge wins against teams that they probably shouldn't have. Bears and Chiefs. Who else got a big one last week? The Giants got a big one against Philly. But yeah, we had some huge key moments, some big time plays from big time people, and Bijan has like the most all purpose yards in 5 weeks than anyone else. Even Chris Johnson had hit like 2,500 yards, all purpose yards. In what was it? When CJ2K had the 2,000 yard rushing season, and Bijan is beating him within those 5 weeks by like 200 all purpose yards. Insane. Let's hop over to the MLB slate. Remember, the last time that we talked, the Dodgers just beat the Phillies and moved on. The Cubs were currently playing, beating the Brewers in Game 4. The Cubs squeak out that win. They go to a Game 5, and the Brewers ended up beating them because the Brewers just hit singles until they put points on the board and win games. Mariners and Tigers went to a Game 5. Mariners barely squeaked that one out, winning 3-2. So Seattle moves on, and so do the Milwaukee Brewers. In Game 1, the Mariners beat the Blue Jays 3-1. And in Game 2, guess what? They absolutely smoked the Blue Jays 10-3. Game 1 of the National League, the Dodgers beat the Brewers 2-1. And I think it was crazy because Blake Snell went 8 innings, had 1 hit, had 10 strikeouts. Absolutely laid the hammer down on the Brewers' bats. He went 8 innings, and then guess what? In Game 2, Yamamoto went 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. So that's 2 games where they didn't have to use any bullpen pitchers. Both their starting pitchers went like 8, 9 plus innings. And the Dodgers squeak out wins by just having to barely put any points on the board to win games. And I think this is going to bring up the argument that there should be a hard salary cap in the MLB. Otherwise, you have teams like the Dodgers who can spend more money than any other team in the league and be successful because of it. The Mets try to do it, but yet they can't because the Mets have a curse and unfortunately are never good. But they do spend a ton of money. The Yankees spend a ton of money. And when it does hit, it absolutely hits. But the Dodgers have been the most consistent about it. They've spent the most money, and their team has had the most consistent success. They win last year's World Series, and they're up 2-0 in the championship series against the Milwaukee Brewers, who were ranked the first number 1 seed in the NL. In Game 3, the Blue Jays bounced back heavy, and I hit a massive parlay on this game. I hit a $10 to $300 parlay because Vlad had a home run and Julio had 2 hits, and the Blue Jays won the game. I bet it in the first inning when the Mariners were up 2-0, and then all of a sudden I look at the score and an hour and a half later, and it's 13-4 because the Blue Jays bats got hot. And this is what I would be worried about the Blue Jays, is that when their bats are hot, their bats are hotter than any team in the MLB. It's like contagious. When one of their players hits a home run, it's like one after the other. Bang, 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 bang. I mean, in innings 3 through 6, they put up 12 runs. 12 runs total. In 4 innings, they put up 12 runs. The Mariners could not bounce back because the Mariners win games when they're close and low scoring. The Mariners' bats aren't so hot, they're going to put up 15 points and win 15-13. But the Blue Jays did bounce back. So Seattle still leads that series 2-1. We have game 3 of the Brewers and Dodgers tonight, and we have game 3 of the Mariners and Blue Jays. I'm not sure who's going to be pitching for. Let me see who's going to be pitching for the Dodgers game because I am curious. Dodgers game pitcher. Is it going to be Ohtani? I'm trying to look right now. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at the website real quick. Don't you hate when you click? Oh, sorry. I already knew this. It's going to be Glasnow. So if Glasnow can go 6+ innings and hold them to low scoring, I think the Dodgers will win this game and be up 3-0 in the series. I'm not sure who's going to be pitching for the Brewers, but the Brewers bats need to get hot for them to win this series. I'm curious to see who's going to be pitching the Seattle Mariners starting pitcher today. Who is it going to be? It's looking like it's going to. Oh yeah, Scherzer versus Luis Castillo. Um, it's actually a good matchup. Scherzer's still an elite pitcher. Luis has had a really good year this year. I think Luis can keep the Blue Jays bats at bay. Not saying he's going to stop them, but he's going to keep them at bay at least for 5-6 innings. And if the Mariners can hit a couple big ones, I can see the Mariners squeaking out a win. But if the Toronto Blue Jays at all, if their bats get hot at all, it's over. And we're going to a game 5 tied. We shall see what's going to happen. We'll talk about that next week when we have the next episode of the podcast. I'm trying to get my dad on so you guys can hear us argue because people find it really entertaining when we argue about anything, especially sports, because he has a lot of very strong, wild opinions, and I often do not share those same opinions. But the Dodgers up 2-0, the Mariners up 2-1 in their series. Game 4 and Game 3 are tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today's podcast. Wasn't a ton of news today. I'm kind of feeling congested. It is my stepmom's birthday, so I'm trying to spend some time with her. But I promise these episodes will get better as time goes on, not feel so rushed. I won't put them for last minute. I love doing this. I enjoy this so much. And for anybody watching, thank you guys so much. And I will catch you guys again next week. Peace.